Welcome to the Big Blue Breakdown. I'm Paul Dottino as we go through the New York Giants rookie minicamp recap. It was an interesting 2 days in East Rutherford, New Jersey, as the Giants brought their rookies in for workouts. There were the 7 draft picks. They were all there. So were 13 undrafted rookie free agents who signed contracts with the team. And then the rest of those folks who worked out with the team were all tryouts, just hoping for an opportunity that might land them a deal. Friday's session was done inside the field house because of intermittent rain throughout the day in the New York City area. Forced everybody inside. You couldn't see as much. They couldn't spread out and do all the things they really wanted to do quite as well. So it was rather difficult to see some of the individual plays that perhaps we would like to have seen. But Saturday presented sunny skies and an opportunity for everybody to get outside and work on different fields, and the different position groups had a lot of room to operate during their drills and so forth. The winds were about 15 to 20 miles an hour on Saturday, gusting up to 30, which was very important for rookie quarterback Jaxson Dart. He threw the ball well, a tight spiral, had proper arc and proper gusto on the ball. I'd say it was a very successful weekend for him, specifically by how well he threw it. Usually very accurate with his tosses. A few, of course, weren't going to be perfect, but it didn't look like the Meadowlands wind really bothered him very much at all. The practice sessions lasted for about 70 minutes each. Now, as far as Brian Daboll is concerned, the head coach had a few takeaways that I thought were interesting during the 2-day session. For example, he said that rookie outside linebacker slash edge rusher Abdul Carter was starting to work in the outside linebacker's room. Now, it doesn't mean he won't have a chance to go to the D-line room at some point, but at least for this weekend, he was in the outside linebacker's room. As far as Jaxson Dart, well, Brian Daboll had a lot of healthy praise for him. He indicated that he showed a lot of natural leadership qualities. Quote, one thing he said was, he was prepared. Very impressed at how Dart handled the other rookies during the 2-day session. Being a quarterback, Dart has to be a leader. Daboll said he was thoroughly impressed with the amount of time that Dart spent getting things ready for the practice sessions, the effort that he put into it, obviously asking a lot of questions. You could see every time that they were out on the field, and certainly when they ran some snaps in the 7-on-7s. And by the way, Dart was the only draft pick to participate in the 7-on-7s. He did it in both days. Daboll said he wanted to get him comfortable taking snaps, calling plays, seeing how well he took instruction, seeing if he called the right plays as they were described to him, and then, of course, how he handled those rookies in the huddle. Communication skills, very important for a quarterback. Daboll very happy with all of these facets, saying that, hey, if the quarterback is the leader of the team, can't know what's going on, and can't direct everybody into the right place and tell them where to go, then what are they really supposed to do? So a big win over the first 2 days of Dart's Giants career. Again, he was the only draft pick to participate in the 7-on-7s. Brian Daboll said the rest of those rookies had enough to deal with. They went through all of the warm-up drills and the individual position drills. Dart, because they ran 7-on-7s, and it was a good opportunity for him to feel comfortable in a quarterback scenario, if you will, got to participate on both days in those. One piece of veteran news from Brian Daboll: the Giants did cut wide receiver Little Jordan Humphrey on Friday. This was a short tenure with the Giants of about 2 months after he had signed a free agent contract, a former Denver Bronco, but he was released, taken off the roster on Friday. All right, let's go through some observations for each of the Giants' draft picks because I think that's the most important part of this, and that's really what you guys want to know about. Brian Dable said, really, what it comes down to is that most of what you got out of these 2 days as a coaching staff was to get to know these guys and get them to know you, at least in more of a true coaches and players football setting. It wasn't so much about actually the plays they did because let's face it, they didn't really run plays outside of Dart in the 7-on-7s. Abdul Carter, clearly he is a very impressive figure. His frame, his athleticism, he's very quick and fluid in his movements. He is all business when you get an opportunity to talk to him. There is no doubt about that. Uh, he himself said he wants to continue to improve his leadership skills because he does want to be the leaders on the team. For the moment, he said he will probably stick with number 51 as the Giants go forward and get to the regular season. Not sure, but it appears that way. Now, why is that important? Well, the NFL allows players to change their numbers all the way up until 1 week before the first regular season game. At that point, they're stuck with the number for the season. So between now and then, none of these numbers on these draft picks, nor any of the Giants veterans, necessarily have to stick and can be changed. So we'll get a little bit more into that a little bit later on during this particular program. One thing that we noticed about Carter, he had a few moments to speak with Giants legend Michael Strahan, who attended Friday's practice, and Carter was very specific in talking to Strahan about understanding the importance of leadership and understanding the importance of history and Giants tradition and how he truly wants to put his stamp on the next level of Giants greats and being part of the legacy of being a great Giants defensive player. You'll notice some of the video that was put up over the weekend. Carter, particularly, a guy who, remember, back at the combine, was said to have a stress reaction, some type of a foot injury, although during the medical rechecks before the draft, his agent said everything was clearing up and he was going to be good to go. Joe Shane, the Giants GM, said before the draft it would not prevent him from being drafted. Then afterwards, when they picked him, said he'd be good to go. Well, Carter was good to go. During the rookie minicamp, he did many of the quick step drills that linebackers are usually put through during their positional sessions, and you should see him go. There was no hesitation, completely fluid, doing everything that all the other linebackers did during those drills, and showed no signs of any foot injury at all. So that's Abdul Carter, the Giants' #1 pick. Well, they did have a second #1 pick, and of course that was Jaxson Dart, and we talked about him just a few moments ago. Threw the ball well. Again, the spin, the spiral, the ability to cut through the wind, regardless of how nasty it can be at the Meadowlands. Certainly very impressive. Conducts himself with confidence, maturity. We told you how Brian Dable said he was happy with his leadership skills. He had a quick chance to meet with one of his mentors, Eli Manning, the legend who quickly dropped by practice on Saturday morning before things got underway, stayed for a little while to watch some, and then had to leave. But that was certainly a fun thing for him. Now, the one story that really stood out from Jaxson Dart is that on Thursday, when the rookies reported for their physicals and to sign their papers, they had a meeting and they were given the playbook and given plays that they were going to run in the 7-on-7s. And Dart said that not only did he go over everything with the guys, but then even on the bus ride over from the team hotel where the rookies were staying early on Friday morning, he made sure to huddle up with the offense again on the bus ride. just to kind of make sure that everybody was on the same page. They knew what they were doing, they knew what the mission was, and that they would all be fully prepared to go through the 7-on-7 practice drills on Friday. When that story was relayed to Brian Dable by the media on Saturday morning, Dable certainly felt very good about that. As we mentioned, those leadership skills showing through with Jaxson Dart immediately. Remember, a good deal of these players who were at this rookie minicamp will not even make it to the summer camp coming up in late July. And yet, here's Jaxson Dart looking at these guys, as he should, being a quarterback, as his teammates at that moment, and doing whatever he could to unify them and make sure that he corralled them to get them ready for the day. So that was a very telling story about Jaxson Dart. Darius Alexander, Giants defensive lineman. What can you say about him except the moment you see him, he's got agility, he's got size and length. We've talked about in a similar way to Leonard Williams coming out of school at Toledo. Well, it's definitely there, and you see it in his cat-like quickness when he runs through all of the individual drills. He also was very impressed by meeting Michael Strahan and spoke about the history and his appreciation for the greats of the Giants' past. He was wearing number 91 at the rookie camp and was very well aware of how Giants legend Justin Tuck, and two-time Super Bowl champion, had worn number 91 prior to him. Again, we do not know if he will be 91 during the season, but Alexander certainly understood the significance of wearing it during this weekend. Jaxson Dart, by the way, just to revert back for a moment, he wore number 6. Said he didn't know how he felt about that. He was number 2 in college. Felt that he wanted to kind of see how number 6 looked at him in the photos and the videos before he would request maybe what number he might wear during the season with the Giants. We move forward with the draft pick discussion, and we talk about Cam Skattebo. Well, the running back out of Arizona State, he wore 44. A lot of fans and media thought 44 looked good on him. Obviously, running back Ahmad Bradshaw, multi-thousand-yard rusher from years past, was 44. Bradshaw had thick thighs. Well, Skattebo has thick thighs too, and thick calves, and thick biceps, and a thick neck. And Skattebo, man, oh man, does he look like a fullback. This guy is very impressive from the moment you see him, even though he's relatively short at approximately 5'10 or so. Things about him that were very, very important to notice is that clearly has very good hands. In all of the passing drills that he did, flawlessly catching the football with good technique, showing very, very soft hands in looking the ball in and making catches. Now, during his media session, two things that became very obvious. Number one, when he talked about how he knows he's only a rookie and has an awful lot to prove and hasn't proved anything yet because he hasn't truly stepped onto an NFL field to compete. Very eager to learn, very eager, as he has said throughout his life, to always prove things every step of the way. Now, the one item that was really indicative of his attitude, he talked about how much he loves to run over a defender. And then specifically, how great it is to run over a defender and score a touchdown, and how it's even better if you can run over 2 defenders and then wind up in the end zone and scoring a touchdown. Skattebo, very, very, very popular player already, even though he has only been to Giants rookie camp, mini camp. Marcus Bowe, offensive lineman. Very interesting situation here as well, because everybody's curious. Is he going to be a tackle? Is he going to be a guard? We had heard the Giants say out of the box when they drafted him, Brian Dable said he would be a tackle right now. Well, he was during the rookie minicamp, but when asked about it, He said he wasn't sure where he was going to be. He played both guard spots and both tackle spots at college when he was at Purdue, and said he's even willing to learn center. He will go anywhere on the line, just wants to learn and do everything he can to try to help this football team. Very athletic player, by the way. Once again, a couple of things that are clear about all of these draft picks. They're very athletic. They're very much on point, very eager to learn with a really, really good, aggressive attitude about it, and also very methodical in all of their approaches. It's quite a draft class. Next up, in the 7th round, the Giants took 2 players. Tight end Thomas Fedoni out of Nebraska. Now, remember, his first 2 years in school hampered dramatically because of 2 ACLs. But since then, he had played 2 seasons with the Cornhuskers and showed that he was capable of doing good things on the field. Well, the length is obvious at 6'6", and he does appear to have good hands, and I don't think there's much doubt that you could tell he would be a major threat in the passing game, also being used as an H-back. Well, the one thing that he told everybody was that the 2 ACLs, not really an impediment to becoming an NFL player, because as he said, after his first ACL, the way he attacked that, overcome it, and then said he believed he was a better player after going through that first rehab, gave him the confidence and the wherewithal to then go through a second torn ACL to the same knee, rehab it, come back, and have a successful career at Nebraska that wound up getting him drafted in the NFL. So another guy with the kind of attitude that coaches and GMs love to see in the building. Corey Black, the second and final draft pick for the Giants in the 7th round, played in 62 games during a lengthy career at Oklahoma State. Very, very eager, happy, excited, can't wait to learn. Said he's got a bunch of veterans already in the NFL who he has talked to an awful lot to try to glean as much as he could to try to get some type of instruction and preparation as to how he would handle this. What was the best advice that he got from all of his professional friends who were already in the league? He said, basically, they told him, find a veteran, okay, attach yourself to him and sponge off as much as you possibly can. Go find somebody in that secondary room and learn whatever it is that he could teach you. So Black already, again, showing the kind of attitude you need to show as a young player coming into a new team. A very funny story that he told everybody is that right after he was drafted, he got a FaceTime call from an odd number that he didn't recognize. Well, quickly answered the call. It turned out it was veteran quarterback Russell Wilson, who has just signed with the Giants a couple of months ago as a veteran free agent. But here was Russell Wilson welcoming the 7th round draft pick. Now, I don't know if Wilson called all of the other guys or not, but he called Corey Black, the Giants' last draft pick of the class, right after this young player was drafted, to welcome him and to try to make him feel comfortable, knowing that very shortly he would wind up within a couple of weeks coming to the Giants facility and trying to acclimate himself into being one of the newest members of this team. Thought that was very interesting. Black said he was overwhelmed by the phone call. In fact, actually had to show the FaceTime while the call was going on to his brother, who was ecstatic to actually have a video phone call, his younger brother, with Russell Wilson. So that was kind of neat. And it also showed you, quite honestly, how well Russell Wilson has acclimated himself to being a New York Giant and is doing everything that he can possibly do to try to get this team moving in the right direction. As for the undrafted rookie free agents, There are a few guys we just want to take notations about. Now, because it was basically a warm-up situation plus individual drills, it's hard to mention anybody else besides the skill position guys. So we will mention right here quickly 4 skill position players at wide receiver who at one time or another during the 7-on-7s showed something. We would say first Daquan Felton, who caught a 50-yard bomb down the right sideline on the final play of Saturday's 7-on-7s from Jaxson Dart for a touchdown. Beautiful throw, again, despite windy conditions, dropped right in the bucket. One of those throws that Russell Wilson would have been proud of. Another guy who made a really nice deep catch at one point during the drills, but this was a one-on-one drill, was Bo Collins, wide receiver. The other 2 receivers who certainly seemed to perform well during the course of the 2-day rookie camp. Jordan Bly, very, very, very quick, runs in the 4.3s and the 40. He would be a slot receiver contender. And of course, from Ole Miss, Antoine Juice Wells, a guy who during the course of his college career did occasionally have some dropsy issues, but I don't remember seeing him drop a pass at all, at least during Saturday's session. If he may have dropped one on Friday, we were kind of screened by all of the bodies in the field house. Maybe that was the case. I can't say for sure. But on Saturday, he looked very good in catching the football. Obviously, he and Jaxson Dart, Ole Miss teammates with the Rebels, and are hoping to take some of that chemistry with them to the New York Giants. Well, that is it right now for the New York Giants rookie mini camp recap. The Giants will have OTAs coming up. I guess that begins the final week of May. Before that, the rookies have to go to a rookie symposium, which will get them acclimated to all things about the NFL. And then, of course, coming up in just a few weeks will be the veteran mini camp, where all of the Giants players who are signed and on their current 90-man roster will actually get to be on the field together. Remember, at rookie minicamp, the veterans don't get to be around. This is strictly for the rookies. But very, very shortly, the entire Giants contingent will be able to hit the field, and they'll actually have to start blending together as they get ready for the 2025 regular season. Well, that's all for now. We'll be back on Wednesday with a live edition of the Big Blue Breakdown. It is the schedule release show coming your way Wednesday night live right here on the New York Giants on SI YouTube channel and media network. We hope to join you then. So long, everybody.